how to? But like Edo told me, okay, just time limit next 2 hours, just only 2 hours remain. He can make concentration on next 2 hours. He just tell his mind only 2 hours, so do it.
Right.
Then
Force it.
another he can do it.
So because of Protestant culture, so we
Yeah.
duty.
Yeah. How about you?
So, but I mean, if you think about promotion, the moment that they start to think about promotion, etc., is still far away. So, can you make yourself decide to keep on working instead of getting a cup of coffee, even though performance review is still half a year away or a year away? So motivation times time pressure times interest,
So if consider for those issues, I think many diversified way to how to keep human concentration, not one way, many way, short term, long term, and also the location, also the kind of action what you're going to do, many kind, not easy to define, right?
No.
So okay, adult people, you have a lot of experience. So, but child, they don't have experience a lot. So we need to teach them what kind of occasion, what kind of location, what kind of situation. If you're going to change it, and then you're going to do something more.
Right.
So I think we can have a chance to teach them a lot of things to give you, but adult does not recognize.
No.
Right? So
they just know
we need to, even if teacher does not recognize what's the best way to teach them. Right? So today discussion I get to understand, like Ed said, okay, time limit is one example. And also we want to go to buy coffee and take a rest, and again try to focus on your concentration. So you cannot keep concentration for more than 2 hours, 3 hours. It's very difficult. But
unless you are in a flow, like when you're coding COBOL.
Yeah, but this is a flow situation. Is concentration is another issue. That how
That's
do
what everybody wants. Everybody wants to work in a way that they are so motivated, so interested, so they cannot think of anything else. They completely forget everything around them.
But everybody cannot do that.
No, unfortunately, I cannot.
But how to going to do that?
So you basically one way is by finding things that you're really interested in and just do those.
I tell you, okay, the first you're going to meditation is the same. They said first step is 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour.
Increase little by little.
Yeah.
Okay, I just remember morning is a good time for concentration.
For people. So for me, nighttime is good.
Nighttime is good.
Nighttime is good because no telephone, nothing on television, nobody awake. Everything is super quiet. I have a higher level of energy.
Oh, this is also good timing. Very calm. No noise, no phone call. Nobody, you are interrupted by nobody. It's very important.
All right. Time can be good. It's also a matter of like, okay, so how important do you think it is to do something? Like a kid doesn't think it's important.
No.
So it doesn't think it's important that he studies for geography because, well, who cares whether I know what the capital of Korea is? It doesn't matter. So there's no real meaning, and especially if somebody else tells you to study that. So if you don't take any responsibility, if you don't have any responsibility in this, it's very easy to reject it. So I just don't want to do that. It doesn't matter because I just don't want to do that. I don't have to face the consequences because I don't have to take any responsibility. I don't get any responsibility, so it's easy to reject. But if you give the child a responsibility, okay, you can decide yourself as long as you prove that you are mature enough or that you are smart enough to deal with the responsibility. So as long as you keep your grades up, if you just pass the exams, then I will not worry because you can deal with the responsibility. That's when the child, instead of just being put under pressure, starts to address his desires versus his obligations. And a lot of kids are not given that responsibility, so they can focus solely on the desires, and so the Papa and Mama, they are the responsibilities. They take care of the responsibilities. I just need to focus on my desires. So it's much easier to get distracted because they don't feel any responsibility. Because Papa and Mama will always tell me, you need to study, you need to study, you need to study. I don't have to tell that to myself. I can just focus on doing whatever I want to do. So if you don't create that conflict within the child, they will always rely on you and your wife to basically tell him, you need to study. Oh, okay, I'll study. But he will study reluctantly because what he's focusing on is happiness, is the things that he wants to do, sleep and watch videos and play video games and things like that. I always wanted to be independent. I really hated my parents to tell me to do this and do that. I just didn't want to. For me, it's like, So for me, it was more important that I got some kind of person of like.
What do you think the factor to make you independent?
So I always wanted to be independent, and my parents, they kind of understood that, and they gave me increasingly, of course not when I was 6-7 years old. They couldn't give me full independence because I was not ready to be independent. Maybe I wanted it to be, but I was not ready to be independent. But step by step, they gave me more degrees of freedom, as long as I made sure that I wouldn't screw up. And I would make sure that I didn't screw up, because otherwise I would lose my freedoms, and that's exactly what I wanted most. So I have always, since I was a kid, I wanted to be independent. I think this was not something that I learned from the outside. This is something that I really wanted from myself. I don't know, is that not everybody has that, apparently.
You mean the independent?
Yeah.
No.
Really? Ah, okay. Yeah, so I actually never questioned this, but I thought everybody had it. But so it's not. Okay. I felt very uncomfortable that my parents interfering with my homework.
Actually, my parents didn't order me anything. My motivation was I did some special, talent for mathematics. So this is, I think, encouraging me to. Just you told me ego. I had the superiority rather than the other student. I had mathematical talent. So this caused me to study more hard. This is one example.
Right.
But that's interesting in mathematics, and get into detail. Then you get into the mathematics area. so you are more concentration on this area.
Right.
But this is I think.
Okay, but that I also had this because I liked, for example, mathematics. I liked some other things. I always did that homework, but I never studied French grammar. I never studied German vocabulary. No, I couldn't care.